to start out with, I know that this system is in equilibrium. And what that means is that the sum of all forces in the x direction are going to equal 0, and the sum of all forces in the y direction are going to equal 0. So when I look, I know that A is divided into AX and AY. B is divided into BX and BY. And I mark my angles there. And the only other force there is the weight of the object, which is pulling straight down with the force of gravity. Now, when I look at this, I know that in the x direction, AX and BX have to be equal because they're the only two forces that are acting in the x direction. Whereas in the y direction, I know the weight's the only thing pulling down, and the only two things pulling up are AY and BY. So when I look, let's go ahead, and I know that these are the two equations that are going to give me equilibrium. So let's go ahead and substitute in using our trigonometric ratios for the x direction. So I know that A times the cosine of 30 is B times the cosine of 60. And then I know in the y direction the weight is 50 newtons, and AY is also A sine 30, and BY is B sine 60. Now what I notice is that in my y direction, this is the equation that I need to solve for either A or B, but the problem is I've got two unknowns. So let's go back over. This is just a simple, when you have a system of equations in algebra, two equations that talk about the same variables, all you need to do is solve for one of them and substitute that into the other equation. And when I solve for B, I'm going to wind up getting B is equal to 43.3 newtons. Now, with that B, all I need to go back into the other equation, plug that in for B, and I can solve for A as 25 newtons. So I've solved using the concept of equilibrium for A and B. Now, when I draw my free body diagram, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw both an unresolved and a resolved free body diagram. So first, let's look at the unresolved free body diagram. The only three forces on the unresolved free body diagram are A, B, and W. But I know on my free body diagram I don't want to use A, B, and W. I want to use actual forces. So when I write my forces, I'm going to write the force of tension in the B direction and the force of tension in the A direction and the force of gravity. So that's my unresolved free body diagram. Next, let's go ahead and try a resolved one. So I know that my force due to tension in the B direction is divided into its x and y components. Same thing with the A force, and the force of gravity comes straight down. So now we've got a resolved free body diagram into its components of the situation we see.